Hello everyone, I'm Colin Egger.
And I'm Jonak.
And together we are Testing Tree Productions, and we've been making the videos for Silverstrand Dojo International for the last 2 years. And in this video we've been asked to talk about our experiences over the last 2 years, the technical aspects of our video making, the highlights of the videos that we've made, and just what we've learned in general.
I guess it all kind of started, Colin, I know, he was doing Aikido for
4 years.
4 years, and now I've been doing it for about 3 years, 3.5 years or so. Colin was the one that really got me into it. Once I started going, Colin told me that, there's a seminar every year or in March or so every time. It was especially exciting because the founder of our school, Jonak Silverstrand, was going to be coming down from Spain, and he's a very knowledgeable man and very steeped in the martial arts, so I was very excited, just coming from a martial arts background originally. Shihan, after talking with him, we got to hang out a couple times, after the seminar or after the classes, and Shihan Silverstrand soon came to find out that we were filmmakers, and we both graduated from the same program at UNL.
Yeah.
At that moment, Shihan had asked us, he had a vision of making videos highlighting all the sensei at Silverstrand Dojo International, and not only for posterity, showing and educating some of the techniques that the sensei can showcase to not only students in the dojo, but to anybody worldwide that wants to watch YouTube videos about the martial arts or about Aikido or any of the martial arts that are in our dojo. But mainly showcasing the sensei and what unique individuals they are and the height of their teaching abilities.
When Shihan brought this project to us and explained what he wanted, he talked a lot about what each of the senseis and instructors bring to the dojo, their unique qualities that makes them who they are, and how that enriches the dojo and enriches their teaching and the students that they teach. Chris and I took that idea and decided to make make part of the video about the unique qualities of each sensei. And so, because we were doing a video of the month on a different sensei every month, we kind of tried to find a unique quality that from their personal life that relates to their teachings or relates to martial arts in general.
The other part is that it was kind of on both our filmmaking backgrounds that we were kind of obsessed with. We still wanted to make narrative films. We wanted to create a video that was very cinematic. So working more with lighting, working more with depth of field, different lenses, camera movement. Making the shot look interesting to look at, not only because a technique is beautiful to look at and very interesting and very educational, but then also trying to make the content, make the visual, the actual movement of the camera interesting to look at as well. And that's something that we didn't really see too much of videos on the web when you saw educational videos about the martial arts, and we wanted to just basically add some of our own cinematic technique, us as artists adding into it, tying that in with the artistry of the sensei and how they teach, and trying to make one whole, artistic, piece together. We wanted it interesting to look at, but we had to also, stay true to the martial arts.
Yeah, we wanted to. These were educational videos at their core, so we wanted to make sure that they could be used as an educational tool, or that if someone was watching them, it would A, be interesting, but B, they would learn a very important technique or a series of techniques from each sensei. So we tried to keep it true to the technique and true to the martial arts, and make sure that it was something that you could learn from. After you watch the video, you would not only be entertained and be interested in what the sensei is teaching, but also you would learn the technique from watching the video.
So the next goal of what we have was to actually take both Shihan's vision and kind of our cinematic vision of how we wanted to tie it together and actually make it then an art piece or make it a video. And it was it was definitely rough going at first, and it was a learning process because I was working with a new camera, working with lenses and getting used to all the converting. We were actually shooting on HD. We wanted to, basically be a step ahead of or right on par with what some videos were being made out there. And of course, a lot of the pre-planning and initial shooting, we could probably made it easier on ourselves if maybe we used cheaper equipment, maybe just cameras from friends. But as far as Colonized aesthetic and where we wanted to go with it, we had larger goals in mind. We probably didn't reach a lot of those goals, and we made a lot of mistakes, and there was a lot of miscommunication.
Still working on it.
Still working on it for sure, but we had an end goal, and we're still working on that, just like anything else, just like martial arts, repetition and, and communication with working with, each other, with Shihan, with the other sensei, with the equipment itself. So initially once we had all the camera gear and we kind of got everything set up and we knew how to put it all together, we then had our process of like how we were going to shoot this. The initial plan was, we need to stay true to the martial arts. We need to show multiple angles of how a technique is being performed. We also need to show close-ups of that technique so people can see exactly, with the way a kote gash is being applied, or, the way a hand sweeps up the back, or how you want to keep a lot of contact with your uke when you're performing a technique. Different aspects. So our main process that we used was, once we got into the dojo where we were shooting the technique, I kind of came up with a 3-tier process where it was 3 levels or 3 tiers that we would shoot on, and it would consist of the 3 tiers, and they would basically be arcs. So we'd have our central subject in the middle, the uke and the tori, and working the technique, and then we would have the outer ring or the outer tier. There would be 3 shots that we would do, 2 side angles and 1 straight on. The second tier, we would just move in closer for a closer shot, and the third one closer again with 3 shots as well. And then after that, we would basically have enough coverage all the way from seeing someone from head to toe, to their waist to their head, to their chest to their head. And basically after we have that coverage, we would move into our close-up shots, the hands, the way hands moved, even the way we would do foot shots so you could see, the movement of certain foot motion as well. Pretty much all of the shots when you're watching some of the technique videos was shot in a slow motion on the camera, so you could actually see the movement. I thought that when we're editing, gave us room to edit and play around with. It also gave the viewer to see more of what was happening, and it gave the sensei or the tori more time to talk about what was happening with the technique or in the video.
It was kind of like a real class,
yeah,
the repetition of doing the technique over and over again, so that you kind of get an idea of what it looks like before you actually try it.
The 2 issues, but also things that we just have to work with that was, once we shoot it, then we have to go to the editing board, go basically upload to the computer. And HD being a new, format almost, and working with computers, it required a lot of time to, and education on my own time, on our own time, to educate ourselves and how to upload, how to convert, how to export the videos when they were done, file sizes, and even being able to convert them so you could edit them in the program was difficult for a while. We had a
lot of trial and error.
A lot of trial and error, but we would usually throw it into an editing system, go over to Colin's apartment usually, or my place, and just sit there and edit for hours on end and just kind of go through it. That's always a fun process because you kind of get to see the footage that you have and what you've shot and seeing it all come together. It's a painstaking process because it takes a lot of time, but it seems like the time does go very quickly because you're excited about what you just shot, and you're excited about what the sensei was teaching and how it related with the shots that you did and how that kind of all came together. The other issue that we did work with and still is always an issue, is audio. We've shot in exteriors, we've shot interiors, and with all those, it's hard to control all the elements, the natural elements that are there. Indoors, we've had echoes or people slamming doors if we're at the YMCA where the dojo is now. Outdoors, we've had problems with airplanes flying overhead. There was
We should have gotten another
there's a noticeable one in one of the videos, but we've learned a lot since then. It was one of those aspects where we were focusing more on the image, and we realized, we need to focus on the audio quite a bit too, because the sensei is educating you. You need to hear them correctly, what they're talking about and what's going on in the image. The initial part was kind of the process of how we approached the sensei if how we were gonna shoot them.
Yeah, and that was a really important part. I mean, especially for the cinematic part of things and learning the unique qualities of the sensei that we wanted to focus on. We obviously have to meet with the sensei and talk to them about not only what they're comfortable with, because I mean, this is personal stuff that we're going to make a video about, and so we need to talk to them about what they're comfortable with, and also kind of something about them that maybe no one knows, maybe no one in the dojo knows, or any of their students know, and that relates to their life or kind of influences their martial arts, or sometimes they do an art form that kind of translates. Baron Sensei, for example, he's a painter, and we talked to him about that, and neither one of us knew that at all, and found that out, and were able to talk to him about it, and kind of highlight that on how that relates or doesn't relate to martial arts, and just a kind of interesting part about the sensei that is unique to him or her. So that's kind of one of the most amazing things that we got to do as students, as students of the martial arts, not only as video makers, but also as students, is that we got to go meet with the sensei that, maybe we didn't even practice the art or go to their classes, but we knew them from the dojo, and we got to go meet with them on a personal level, sit down and talk to them about their life, in some cases go to their house and just kind of hang out and get to know them. And through that process, we kind of talk to them about what they're comfortable with, and then we see something or hear something that is kind of interesting, and then that kind of culminates into a video, and we talk about, like, maybe we could do this, and maybe we could talk about that, and what do you think about this? And usually it's really, it comes out really, really amazing, and sometimes we're surprised and sometimes they're surprised at kind of what relates really, really well and what translates on video really, really well.